next play investors. What's the next play? McFlight Investors.
Borderline drifting.
And if you don't shift your mindset, you will just stay stagnant. And I have recommended this book to so many people that I know, especially personally in my family, who needs to do a shift. Yeah. Yes. Oh, we didn't know you were live. No, I was just.
What? What for?
What for? Why? And she should. Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Man, my thing is, as a parent, period, it ain't my responsibility for you to like me. My responsibility is to make sure that you have everything you need and that you're equipped to survive outside of my four walls. If you can do that, I've done what I'm supposed to do.
Correct.
Right. I agree.
I'm lying.
Yeah, so that's why I say she mad right now. I know she mad, and you know, the craziest part about it, man, y'all started the night off with the book already, but it's gonna be people in her circle that's not in my circle that's gonna think I'm wrong for introducing her to the book at 11 years old, and I don't really care because that's the problem. If anybody ever read the book, that's the problem. Most people don't really know.
You? Oh,
you lost me.
What happened? What happened?
Oh, I lost you.
Uh-oh.
All I hear is over here.
Okay, we're here.
So,
We're
you
here.
know,
I see Stacey, you still on?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're still here.
So, you know, man, I've been pushing that book too. Thank you, Nicole. I did get your email. I will get everything together.
I knew it.
They were talking about you. I know you heard that.
It's just been a very, very busy week, but
I understand.
Yeah, everybody got to read the book. You know what I mean? Martin, have you read the book?
No, I ain't read the book.
You up there? You sharing the gospel with the people. But no, Franco, I was telling everybody that one of my friends, he's gonna join. He actually sent me a text message and was like, "Did you? I didn't hear back from the guys in the group." And I was like, "Oh, well, just come in tonight and see what we're talking about." But I just really think if we could do a segment at some point with and tied into what he does with his life quest. I mean, because it ties in too with, you know, what I'm doing with him in the vision board and the life quest. Because like I told the guys, in 2014, if I would have read that book, my mindset wasn't there. And I just would not have followed the book like I'm following the book now, or you know how I'm following the book.
It's understood.
Understood. Yeah, set it up. We'll talk to him and see what we can do. We always want to collaborate with people. We definitely want to do that.
Yes, I didn't want y'all to be caught off guard when you see Michael. That's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and he's from South Carolina too, Stacey.
Oh, he's a good guy then.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, set it up because I think, you know, like I got something special I'm gonna work on for that book this week, man, to make sure everybody can get it. I actually got the link that Reggie sent, and I'm planning to put it on, post it on What Next Play. I actually got some banners and stuff that's being created to make that a Next Play model. Don't drill. So I mean, I was serious about that last week. Like that's what the whole thing about Next Play is don't drill. And it's gonna base off that whole book, you know what I mean? Like, I think if everybody came in the Next Play from here on out and read that book, I think it'll change a lot. Like I said, teach you a lot. So you know.
Right.
Well, I added a new part of the motto if y'all want to take it, you know. So stop drifting and start living.
Start drifting and what now?
Stop drifting and start living.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I put that in the email, but I didn't get a response back. But I understand, Franco. I understand we all had a busy schedule this week.
Yeah, I check the email once a week on Mondays. Until we start getting a lot of traffic to the email, I only check the email once a week on Monday. So if I see people sending emails, then that's a whole nother situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I appreciate it. I go in and take a look at it, and so next play. I work on Next Play on Tuesdays, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
All right, man. What's going on, Reggie? How you doing, man? I seen you answer.
Not too bad. How's everybody?
All right. What's going on, Red?
Hello, all.
Good to see you.
What's up?
So let's get started, man. Who got what we got going on, Stace?
Well, I mean, we started off with some success stories, and I started off my success story this week was a fact that I was able to go down to Savannah this week and look at properties. And I was able, well, I put a contract on 2 properties, older homes. Don't know if they're going to accept my offer. I put 2 offers on 2 properties down there. Not sure if they're going to accept it, but I got a chance to see Savannah. Did a tour while I was down there, and didn't know how Savannah was a major part of the U.S. history. Didn't know that a lot of major cotton producers came out of Savannah. A lot of wealth was down in Savannah, and it was a part of building this nation that we live in. So it was good, and it also I was able to travel without any burdens. It was good, and it kind of felt free for the first time this week. So it was good. That's my success story. Cash flow, Stacy. I'm out. Go ahead, Tyler.
Hi, hey man. My success story is for the week. I realized the importance of work ethics and how far it can really take you. That being said, like the work ethics that was instilled in me as a little boy was, don't, pardon my French, my mom, don't half-ass do the job. Do it right the first time. That way you don't have to come back. But nevertheless, I didn't know then as a child that it would benefit me when I'm older. And as an example of it, I was offered a bigger, sort of say, slice of the pie as far as when it comes down to what I do as far as my work, as far as my window and door business. And I can say Friday was like my first test. Like normally I would get an average of anywhere from 10, maybe 14 service requests. But now I have people just strictly asking for Atlanta window and doors. And they're going through the company that subcontract for. So they're asking for me by name, and they don't want anybody else out there. Oh, so nice. Needs to say Friday, I had 38 service requests. 38.
Oh, that's excellent. Congrats. Congratulations.
So it jumped from like 14 to 38. So and they're asking for me by name, and they're waiting on me to get out there. So it's just a testament to, me doing the work right. And I have another guy that's with me, and he's also falling right in line doing the same thing. So that's my success story, man. It's just something from my past is relevant right now for my for now and my future, and I was taught this when I was a little kid, Nice. Always do the job right. Don't half-ass do the job.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But hey, that's my success story, man.
We should teach these young boys that.
That's the problem. They want the money quickly, and they think doing the job quickly, but they're half-ass doing the job.
Right. Absolutely.
No.
So. That's awesome, Sam. That's good.
That's right. That's good.
I love to hear the success stories. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Nicole.
I have a success.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Nikki doesn't have a success story. I just live my best life.
You got another degree or something, didn't you?
Come on. Okay. You
listen.
The book. How about that?
I'm not adding no other. No, I did. I start my 3rd class. It's going to be my last class for my ESOL endorsement. But I did tell you all I was accepted into the principals program. So
Yep.
right now, my mindset is I'll be getting ready to sign my 4th contract as an assistant principal soon. And I'm just, preparing my mind to get my own school. So my next step is to conquer that goal. So I wanted to complete 5 years as an assistant principal and then go ahead and get my own school. So right now I'm just kind of focused on the task at hand that I have going on at work so I can prepare myself for the next venture. And it looks like my friend Michael joined. Michael.
How you
what's
doing,
going on,
Michael?
Michael, you ain't showing your face.
Hey, good evening, good evening. Yeah, I'm gonna change my phone in just a second. I
Okay.
laying down.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's all.
I told the guys about you, Mike.
So my success story for the week.
Hold up. Hey, can I say something? Can I say something real quick?
We're gonna get with Mike.
Oh, okay.
What y'all want me to catch up with?
You gotta
What
tell
was
us,
your
apologize for all I
success
know.
story?
Mike, just jumping in, you gotta come in and tell us what was your success for the week. What happened? Every week we start out with success stories. So you got
Okay.
since you jumping in, you got to tell us a success story that you happened that happened to you this week. It could be
Yeah.
something that happened, something that you accomplished, something you feel
Oh.
good about, any of that stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one of the things that that immediately, what I got my global entry pass this week, so that's allowed me to go through TSA all around the world, and that's what the goal is for this year.
So
Wow.
you're trying to travel.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to put a little time in. Hold on, my son was sitting next to me, so hold on, I'm making some adjustments, and but that was one of the main things. And then the other thing is and I don't know if Nicole mentioned it, but I do a lot of workshops. So I did a massive submission on LinkedIn this week to offer that workshop to people around the world. So yeah, but that's kind of how my week went.
Man.
Man, that's great.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sir.
amazing. The global passport. Let me ask you this question, Mike. Do they check you
Uh-huh.
when you use the global passport? I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, you know what? It's the first time I've gotten one. So I originally was just going to get the TSA, and someone else told me said get the global entry pass.
Well,
And
is
so
that the one that scans your eyes and stuff?
You know what? I think it is because the guy explained that there's a kiosk that I have to go up to at the airport, and so he said but I haven't had a chance to try it yet, so I'm looking forward to figuring it out.
Oh, okay. All right.
Man, that's
Yeah.
nice.
All right.
I didn't even know they had a global passport. Mike, you coming
Yeah.
on fire already.
Yeah. Hey, I'm always trying to be helpful. Always trying to be helpful. Yeah.
Get in my neck.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Global.
I tell you, y'all threw me right on in. So yeah, I'm enjoying this already.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do that. Hey, sequester, I seen you. I seen. But I'm gonna go for next, man. My success story this week, man. It's been a great week, even though bad things have happened and I'm starting to learn. But one of the best things I learned this week was asset protection. Like classification of how you classify all your stuff in your life matters more than anything in the world. I mean, because I had paperwork filled out and put together that stopped a lot of stuff from happening to me this week that I really didn't understand, that how the sign of the pen and a piece of paper being filed can change everything in your life. Just by having it classified the right way. And Stacy wear the shirt a lot of times that say own everything. I mean, control everything but own nothing. And it goes back into it. Like I use that. Like I had a situation that I was dealing with, and it was really crazy because I was sitting at the house, and I thought to myself, I said, what if I send this paper to this people and this people and send this paper to these people and turn this paper into these people and see what happened? Well, when I sent all these pieces of paper to different organizations that are part of the government and to everything else, and then I sent it to the person that actually needed to get the paperwork, as soon as they got the paperwork, everything stopped. Like I've been fighting something for a couple of years, and they've been kidding me because I didn't have paperwork right. And so it was a situation where it's been a long drawn out thing And because the paperwork wasn't there the correct way, and it just so happened I learned about it by being here in Next Play, like how to
Set
put
up
class,
corporations.
how to set up corporations, how to set up yourself
Mhm.
personally to be able to not pay taxes, also to protect yourself, also to protect your family, like building generational wealth. It now made it more real over the last 6 months of my life because of the simple fact that the little things that I've applied in Next Play, listening to all of everybody talk and everything else that that I've learned and actually applied and put them down, I actually see how they work. You see what I mean? And so this week I
Mhm.
used one of them,
Yeah.
and it got me out of the situation. Now I still got other situations to deal with, but it created a better situation and it moved it forward because, as you know, waiting for attorneys and other people to come up with solutions, you got to be more proactive. The attorney is
Right,
only gonna do what you tell them to do.
Telling
right,
them.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with attorneys, you need to know what paperwork needs to be submitted. Just like when we're trading stocks, you need to know how to do the separate plays. You need to know how to do all these different things that'll keep you and protect you. And I think we're gonna talk some more about asset protection because it was a real success for me because I've been fighting, like I said, I've been fighting something for a couple of years, and then finally I might got some recourse by doing what I needed to do by submitting the right paperwork to the people so they can submit it to the other people. But as of
Mhm.
right now, it was a win. So I'm happy about that. Mind frame is still good. Still getting up at 5:30 in the morning. Still, I'm actually back in the gym. So I've been back in the gym for the last 3 weeks hard. And so shoot, that's been a good thing because it's been almost 4.5 months of straight being on something that I was. It's crazy because I set out to change my mind and actually get a lot more focus. And so the last 4 or 5 months, I've been able to be real focused about what I'm doing and still be able to stay on my regimen, even though it's actually, um, things been busy. You got stresses and everything else, but being able to be focused. So after I read the book and also staying on being focused, it's been a lot. It's been a very great thing to know. Okay, we can't drift. The new phrase of not drifting, and then being able to be having laser focus. And it's just like other people have said, the more focus you get and actually apply action, a lot of things change. So it's been a great week for me. I feel pretty good, and that's my success story for the week. It's a lot.
Yep. Yep.
Go ahead, Sam.
Hey man, I just want to say, my man Reggie has a mic muted, but I want to say something to Reggie, man. You said something a few weeks ago about, and you shared something with your personal life, how you went back in the gym and all the stuff you did and how far you get count. And I just want you to know, man, personally, that that lit something in me, and I think a few other people in this group. They aren't saying anything, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I appreciate you because it lit something in me. I went back to the gym and I've been on it ever since then, man. And I appreciate you sharing that with me, man. And now, I mean, I've been sort of a health conscious as far as what I've eaten and what I eat and stuff, but I slacked off a little bit, and I appreciate it, man. What you said got me back in focus, and I'm back in the gym, man. Doing good, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you being appreciative, man. We got to hold each other accountable.
Yes, sir. Nicole, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to just kind of piggyback off Sam. Yes, thank you, Reggie, for that. I still haven't got my little self back into the gym, but I am making my way there. I did every week I have my little Fitbit on. So I did 15,000, like 15,600 and some steps on last week at work. So my goal is 10,000 steps a day, but I mean, if I don't, I'm gonna run around my house until I get to 10,000. But I normally, on an average, I do probably about 12 to 13,000 steps a day. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you for your words of encouragement. I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago. So it really resonated in me to get myself back together health-wise.
Yay!
That's awesome.
All right. Who else got success stories? Reggie, tell me your success stories. Sequester. Somebody, let's go. We got to get. I want to hear success stories. I want to hear. I want to hear what happened good in people in Next Play week because we every week it got to be productive. Ain't nobody going.
I'll go. This week, let's see. So I think I don't know if it's this group. I'm part of some other things that I listen to as well. I have a Roth at my bank that I've been trying to figure out what to do with it because I haven't been doing nothing with it. And so I wanted to trade it. So I was trying to figure out, how do I trade it? How do I trade using it? So I finally figured it out. I had to call TD Ameritrade and ask them, can I transfer over a Roth savings over to them, and then can I use it to trade? And so they said that I could. So now I have to visit my bank. I don't know, because they don't have the account number online banking. So I have to actually visit the bank and get my account number and then submit it into TD Ameritrade so I can transfer over the Roth account.
Oh,
That was me. That was major for me because that's just, I'm like, this, you're just letting this just sit here. It's been sitting there. I'm not even gonna tell y'all how long.
We want to know.
I'm too ashamed.
Plus, there's nothing to be ashamed about. This is a safe
It's been sitting there. Listen, y'all remember when Winn-Dixie's was around? I used to work at Winn-Dixie.
Wow.
Wow, yeah,
But
they don't even have those.
you bring up Winn-Dixie.
Over 10 years.
But,
Over 10
but you
years.
want to know what's crazy
Yeah, way
about
over.
Winn-Dixie? You want to know what's crazy about Winn-Dixie? Winn-Dixie was the first company ever to do dead peasants insurance on their employees. Y'all know what
Dead
dead peasants
peasant
insurance
insurance.
is?
No.
No.
Oh, y'all okay. So dead peasants insurance is where companies go in and buy life insurance on their actual employees. So when the employee actually dies, they get paid out insurance money. So part of the like employee insurance is actually what they're doing is buying the policy and actually giving the employee a little bit of piece of it, because Winn-Dixie was the first company to ever get caught for this. They were the company that they didn't create it. They were the first company to ever get caught for having all their employees on life insurances. So, and they was getting paid off of it, and people never knew about it. It's called dead peasants insurance. If you go look it up online, it's one of the biggest scandals against Winn-Dixie. But now every company in America does it. So it's funny that, you know what I mean, like a lot of people ain't never heard about it, but it's called dead peasants insurance, and they might be changed the name by now. But that's what it's called, and so the premise was behind it is Winn-Dixie said if an employee died, they lose revenue, so they're trying to recoup that money from that employee because that employee was considered revenue in that company. Should really go read about it. It'd be interesting when you sit down and look at it. But that's crazy. She brought up Winn-Dixie and that's a long time ago.
Yeah. I used to stop.
They
for
still have
Winn-Dixie.
Winn-Dixie's in certain areas. Sequester, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
They're still in Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, so
But I think that's it. I didn't do anything too much with stocks this week. I really need to get in. I've been setting up my account is what I've been doing. I've been moving money over and transfer. I'm trying to get everything together because I'm getting ready to go in. I'm getting ready to I'm not in a simulator anymore except for options. I'm going to actually go in and start.
You're ready.
Those options tricky, bro.
They is tough. We had a class this week with Terry, but she was I don't want to say fussing, but it was kind of like fussing.
You said kind of like Sequester. Sounds like she was
I didn't want to use that word, but she had some things written down that she really wanted to address, and she addressed them.
Oh.
And we didn't do any, it's an options class. We're supposed to be doing options, the options study group, but she didn't do any options. She went in.
Okay.
And so we listened to her talk about what we need to be doing and not doing this. And yeah. So we'll see in 2 weeks, what she goes over, but I'm still working in options. I got to take it piece by piece, though. I got to digest it slow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
But that's it for me.
Good. All right.
Reggie, you the last one. What you got?
What about my cousin?
Man.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, cuz.
Good week. It was good week. Good week. I survived. It was very snowy up north this week. I saw, I think I spoke with Sam and Stacy. I saw at least 32 trucks upside down on their belly due to the ice storms, and it was a blessing that I made it through.
That man is an ice road trucker, man. That man know how to drive in the, he know how to drive in the ice, man. I love it, man. You know, hey, man, I'm
Yeah,
proud of you, Martin. I'm proud of you,
yeah.
Martin.
And I finally got a chance to realize that this month went by pretty fast. This was like my first day of actually getting a chance to rest, just to lay down and just rest. So that's my success. Rest and making it through.
Well, that's a good thing, man. I'm proud of you. Definitely proud of
Appreciate
you. Reggie, you got something, Reggie?
Not right now. I'm currently in a hold pattern, so I'm just kind of laying in the cut. I got a few things I'm working on, but as far as success stories, wins, right now I'm in a bit of a hold pattern, and hopefully next month, the things I'm doing now will pay off.
Sounds great. We can't wait to hear about them.
Yep.
All right, man. So let's get to talking about to this week, man, and kind of go over some of the main topic, man. We're gonna talk about this week before we get into the other stuff. The effects of the Ukraine-Russia crisis on the market. What do everybody think? They got historical data that shows something, and I want to get the opinions of everybody here of what do y'all think is going to happen to the markets due to war?
I think we go be okay. But as far as being Americans and trading in the U.S. market, I think the problem is not going to occur unless we actually put troops on the ground, and that's when the costs go up, and that's when the fears and everything come in. I think we're going to be okay right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm
Well,
gonna throw a caveat in here. I guess I should have said this, Michael Finn. The other thing is Bitcoin is already being used heavily in this war. So I'm just gonna throw that up. I'm just gonna throw that in the mix, and I'm gonna throw that in the mix and make sure everybody think about that one too.
okay.
So Stam and then Mr. Fleming.
Now, Mr. Fleming's first. He was first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting because just earlier today, I was telling someone that I watch CNBC a lot, and so they constantly are talking about how it's going to affect the oil reserves out of the Black Sea and that particular that particular area of Europe, and it's hard for me to buy into it. To be honest with you, because the oil reserves around the entire world have spiked up because over the last 20, 30 years, they have a better process of finding oil everywhere. America's got enough oil on its own just by itself, let alone the oil that we continue to find in the oceans and Canada and everywhere else. And so it's hard for me to understand, as integrated as the global, supply chain marketing and everything is, that any particular country is that reliant on Russia by itself. And then because Ukraine is not in NATO, then I know the other gentleman was saying, I said, we're probably never going to really put any direct troops on the ground unless they pull in, I think it's Switzerland and Finland or something like that, who are, who share more interest with us. But I can't imagine Russia being that big of, being that ridiculous. But I mean, then again, these folks nowadays do absurd stuff. It's China I'm more concerned about how China plays this out, because obviously for all the things that they're saying wrong with the supply chain, if China has any delay on how they help or assist or participate, or we have to put sanctions on China in some particular way, that will upset everything. I don't fully buy into why Russia is causing so much problems. And so maybe there's something I'm overlooking, or another piece that I haven't heard of or seen in play. But having said that, I mean, I think the market had already anticipated a lot of this. So that's why there wasn't no major fluctuations in when the war actually started in the market itself. The market was already getting hit by other factors. So I don't, it's hard for me to buy in why this is such a major play, but militaristically, I mean, we had no choice, right? We can't let just Russia start impeding, intruding on other countries and then incentivize other countries to feel like they could be doing the same and not have to worry about what the the retribution is going to be. So that's just my overview of it. I'm still monitoring every second of it, kind of thing. It seems like 2 or 3 times a day I'm clicking on CNN's app to just kind of see whether how far the war has escalated. And I mean, obviously, you know, they're saying that Putin is willing to be more diplomatic because the Ukrainians are trying to, you know, are doing a better job of them fighting back. Well, we've been training them. We've been training them in Afghanistan for the last, you know, 5 years, 10 years. And so they're better equipped. There's a ton of money also. And then the suspicious person in me says that all of this was just a major play to keep the DOD contracts going all around the world. And so because there really was no particular need for this at this time for Russia at all, there's just no benefit to Russia doing this. And the risk, and you see even the citizens of Russia are protesting that this is a nonsense war. So, you know, but you know, the military industrial complex, man, this is what they do for a living. So I can't help but be I'm usually not a conspiratory, suspicious, this level of suspicion type thing going on. I just don't understand. I mean, it just doesn't seem to make any basic rational sense. So that's my thoughts.
All right, we got
all right. Well, my take on the whole thing is that the European economy actually is going to suffer because of it. Even the Russian people themselves are going to suffer behind this whole attack. Now, that being said, even though it's not the economy of the United States, the European economy, sooner or later, if it goes on too long, it will affect the United States because of their economy and how we're intertwined. So sooner or later, like I say, depending on how long it goes, it will eventually affect us, but not up front, not right now. It wouldn't. So, you know, that being said, everybody knows what war does. A war doesn't do anything but make money. So, and it's sad to say there's a lot of money being made by a war. And for you, Michael, me saying that should sort of turn on the light bulb. You're like, wait a minute, then, you know, every world war been fought has made money, period. The countries make money. So this could be a money play or whatever, because like you said, it makes no sense why they would attack. Well, when you look at it from a financial standpoint, what were they missing? You know, from what I could understand, I thought Ukraine missed this NATO amount of money they were supposed to pay. So they really weren't, you know, they're not supposed to be helped. That's why the United States don't have boots on the ground, because they didn't actually pay their part in what they were supposed to. So, like, that's my reasoning behind it. I don't think it's going to affect us. Not right now. Like you said, we have to keep our ears and nose, keep our ears open and just watch and see how it plays out. If it drags on, we're gonna start feeling the effects. Crude oil, of course, they've already been talking about that already. So that's already been in the news. That's nothing new. So that's basically my take on it.
Anybody else? So, I'm gonna speak on this and say this: financial porn.
Yep.
Financial porn. Because historically, I'm gonna put this up on the screen. So historically, every time a war breaks out, the market has a correction and it goes about 10% up in about 10 to 15 days after the actual war, no matter where it starts at. I found this online. I'm gonna put it up and share it real quick. I hope it's big enough for everybody to see. But the craziest part about it is, can y'all see that, or does it need to be bigger?
Bigger.
They won't let me blow it up too much, but I know how to blow it up.
Stretch it.
Oh man.
There you go.
I'm a computer. I deal with computers every day.
There we go. Yes, sir.
So we gonna get this one, and we gonna bring it up. Y'all can see that now.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all can see that now. So these are all the events over the past couple of years that have actually taken place. So if you notice, most of the situations, the worst one was North Korea, and the way he said China. The Saudi, all the things you see bombing in Syria, you usually have about a 5 to 6 day pullback, and then it goes back to recovery in a very short period of time. The worst one was the invasion of Kuwait, where we had direct boots on the ground. It goes back to what Sam said, that once we actually put people on the ground, it's actually going to that's when we have a real problem in the market. But the whole thing is about money, but they're telling the people online and in the news to be fear. They have all this fear about the market, but again, it goes back into the fact that the numbers don't lie. History shows you that it's not going to be a real problem with the market, because usually you might correct 4% at the most. That's the biggest number you see, except for the U.S. terrorist attacks on 9/11. That was a major thing. That was a direct bombing. That's the worst one. And an invasion of Kuwait. Them the only two that you see that actually had a really problematic situation when you look at um, the whole stock market dropping down and actually blowing up. But again, they're telling the people, oh, the market's going to do all, they're scaring the people with all the things that's going to happen. But there's actual information that disproves all the information that's being put out there to make it financial porn. So a lot of people are going to make decisions and don't even have the true facts of what's really going on. So when you sit here and look at the numbers, nothing's going to really happen. It's going to actually go the opposite way, because they're using it as a catalyst to make more money. Because guess what's going to happen? Like I said with the Bitcoin thing, they had over $10 million in Bitcoin used in the last week to go to the Ukraine. So crypto, even though and the crypto prices are going down for some reason, but they're using all the money to finance the war. They're using Bitcoin to finance the war already. And so that's why I say to everybody, like, are we going to continue to listen to
Financial porn?
Are we going to continue to listen to financial porn, or are we going to look at it from a different perspective and create our own mind frame? Because I mean, it goes back to the book of not drifting. A lot of it is just thinking and using the actual truth that goes along with it. You know what I mean? And you have, like, when you sit here looking at it, you're looking at the fact that these people are selling the regular people out, because they're going to think, oh, the market's going to crash. They pull out their money, and then the market jumps up. So it's one of the things I wanted to kind of continue to talk about and bring up, because everybody's talking about this war. Like Michael said, the only thing about Russia that really is a big player, the problem is Russia do a lot of commodities, a lot of metals and ores. It's really a big play for Russia to try to prove their dominance in some situation, some capacity. It's really not a situation of anything. They're just doing it to try to prove a point, because they can get back in, because a little bit known, Russia is not in a lot of treaties and a lot of different organizations that all these other countries are in. And so I think there's more of a force to actually get them to be able to be admitted on their own terms. I mean, the only way to actually do, if you create chaos, you create the problem, you also you can get the solution to whatever you want. And they're trying to get the solution. They just built, like, there's a new Russian pipeline that's been built called the Nord 2 pipeline. They're trying to get that pipeline so they can actually make more money. Well, how else can you make people do what you want them to do if you start a war with a little bitty country that really don't have nothing? And now the whole world's paying attention to you, so they'll get you to stop by giving you what you want.
Yeah, money.
So it breaks down to money, man. And I just thought it was an interesting topic, because everybody talking about it one way, but when you sit back and really look at it, that's not really what's happening. That whole situation is being played out into the people, like, oh well, yeah, the market, everything's gonna go. They're making everybody fearful, and in reality, there's really nothing to be fearful of. I mean, so because, like, even now they're talking about, oh, Putin is ready for the release the nuclear weapons. Like, nobody's gonna shoot nukes nowhere, but it's all fun and the same, man. But we'll go from there, man. What else we got going? What new, Stacy? You got some news? Where we at?
Well, I just want to say with the far as the news has been packed, like you said, with the crypto, but also being flooded with information about the metaverse. This thing is catching fire, man. For those of you that hadn't been keeping their eyes on the ball, so to say, the metaverse, they're finding new applications for it, new uses for it, and it's coming up quicker than anybody could ever thought.
Snoop Dogg is taking the whole Death Row.
Yeah.
Making it an NFT. So all of the old Death Row audio and recordings will be only released in the metaverse. So it's really getting big. That's why he went and bought Death Row.
Yeah. That was him and his son.
Mm-hmm.
That was him and his son.
Yeah.
That did that.
Yep. And so they basically that's a big thing. But we hadn't forgot about the metaverse because that's some things going on in the background right now. The hype is gone. The news stopped talking about it, so everybody kind of just backed off of it. But it's real big.
And Activision, that whole acquiring how Activision was acquired by another company.
Mm-hmm.
All that is a play on the metaverse. They were getting what was it, Grand Theft Auto, I think it was, through Activision or whatever. They're redesigning. All that stuff is going to be actually the part of the metaverse.
Yep.
So all this stuff is a big play for the metaverse. And I'm just waiting to see how this goes and trying to figure out where you can get in, because actually Disney was saying they actually bought some more some more positions. Somebody.
Right, we got some feedback somewhere.
Somebody got some noise in the background. I can't. It's gone now.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
My headset.
that was it, man. For us, what I was looking at for us the news today was basically I saw the metaverse, and the video gaming section is like hot right now. Activision,
yeah,
really hot too, really hot.
And so,
go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was on I didn't stay on long, and another guy is in the gaming world, but I was on a call earlier this week where they're trying to get a lot of nonprofits to come into the metaverse.
Yeah.
So they already are shaping them, thinking about what the kind of civil service type stuff is going to look like in the metaverse. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Ike Reese. He's setting up these metaverse partnerships at all the HBCUs. And so he was a big executive at Microsoft. And so there's some things that they've got that they're doing. Yeah, man, there's some of these companies are dedicating a big portion of time, man. This thing is accelerating. I thought it was going to kind of move a little slower, but or just more and more, there's type of resources that are popping up around me that making me think that it's moving faster. But I don't make it through the week without someone asking me to join some kind of call to kind of see what activity is going on with the metaverse. So I'm convinced. I'm gonna tell you now, just some of the stuff that I saw that they popped up on the screen. And I have a 9-year-old son, and I don't think his mind functions without having some relationship to it anyway now for him. So he's not going to know anything different. So I I'm monitoring it, just kind of seeing what really is happening around it. And again, watching CNBC, pretty much every person who comes on and gets interviewed, they make some reference to it in some particular way, because I get the sense that they all feel like they've got to participate, that they've got to participate in somehow their companies have got to participate as it evolves as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing is go ahead, Stacey.
I was going to pose a question. So, being that we talk about the metaverse, do you think that Facebook, which is Meta, Facebook has dropped tremendously? Is it a buy at this point?
Definitely, I think it is.
Yeah.
They were talking about the owner of that of Meta. And they were saying that he has like a new direction. There's some other guys that were commentating on him. And they were saying that they think he's going to hit it in the right direction to take it back up again. So yeah, I would say it is. And also, don't forget Google Alphabet.
That's right.
It. You need to keep your eye on that.
That's right.
Like I say, man. And Stacy, me and Stacy, I think we have a little thing going on. Stacy likes to buy his when they split. I like to buy mine before they split.
Yeah, same here.
So, and really, there's no proof of which one is best. So I did my reading, and the experts say that it makes no difference.
Yeah,
it makes no difference. You can buy when it drop, or you can buy for a split. You're still going to be at the same position. They saying.
Yeah, and being a part of Next Play, and just being a part of the learning curve with the options, you can do what's called a naked put on Google, and you can make money while you get in the stock for the price you want. So basically, we actually have done the math on it outside of you talking about it, Sam, and we figured out a way to
Oh, we gotta hear about that one. That'd be an after. Okay. Okay. After hours, I agree with that. That'd be after hours. That's a little bit too much for everybody.
Yeah, it's TMI, bro.
Yeah, too much information.
Reggie got his hand wet.
Reggie, let's go with Reggie. What you got?
All right. Hey, I understand the studies and all for pre and post split. Yeah. And under most circumstances, those studies have worked out that it is pretty much a wash. But there are a couple of new factors that have come into play. Number one, retail investors and their access to apps to be able to purchase stocks.
True.
Between that and the ability now using those softwares to buy fractional shares of stock. Okay, so those are two big things.
Okay.
One of those things, if you disregard the fractional shares, you've got a lot of people that were looking at stocks like Google and Amazon and thinking that's just too much money per stock. Yeah. So because before you were able to buy fractional shares, there were stocks that you just couldn't get into, $1,000+ stocks that you just like, I'm not going to worry about it. So I do put that in play, especially for people because there's still not that many apps where you can do fractional shares. The ones that are the biggest, that are most used, are not fractional share. They don't have that as a feature. And because of that, I have to think that
Yeah, you're right. You were. So Reggie, can I get you right? Because I think I know where you're going with this one. Because the price is going to be cheaper, people are going to want to buy more fractional shares because they can own Google quicker.
couple of years, most people still aren't doing it. And the thing is that once Google splits and becomes affordable, gets down to Apple prices, I have a feeling that those retail investors are going to jump. I'm not talking about the big system-wide investors, but the retail investors have made a pretty significant dent in the market the last 2 to 3 years. And I think that that's why if you can get in there before the actual split, because once it splits, especially like I said, man, if we're looking at a 10-to-1 split, you know, $1,000, $1,500, all of a sudden we're now down to like $120, which is right around Apple prices. You get that happens. Now all those retail investors. As a matter of fact, I was one of those retail investors that was looking at Google and going, "Nah, I don't think I can do that, man. Let me stick with Tesla." And I got Tesla before the split. Same thing with AT&T before the split.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Apple too.
I'm sitting on Google right now, just trying to figure out how I'm going to scrape a little bit. Let me just get one. Let me just get one Google stock and get it before the split. And then once it splits, now you on top of that, you have ways to diversify your investments, because most people don't want to. I know I don't want to. I've been sitting here watching Tesla go down and going, I don't want to break up any of it now, even though I can. I'm finally in a threshold where I'm not having to pay the tax on it. You know, because I've held it for more than a year.
Oh, the capital gains.
Yeah, for capital gains. So the thing is even though I don't have to deal with capital gains tax right now, I still don't want to sell it because I don't necessarily think that that's the right time. So that's why Google is my next play, the same way Tesla was pre-split. Mm. And you can't. Nobody can tell me nothing about what happened to Tesla post-split. Tesla and Apple. So
yeah, I got both of them before the split too, but I think Google is 19-to-1 split.
I forget.
I was reading. I think it's
when I read it. You guys can probably check the WhatsApp, because I remember telling you guys about it a few weeks back.
It's like 20 or
posted in the WhatsApp side. So that Google is gonna do a 20-to-1 stock split on July 15th.
There you go.
So that's a lot.
That's gonna make it easy.
That's like $100 a share. No, that's 120.
What's the stock price of Google right now?
About 2,600, something like that, right? Like 2,600, 28.
Alphabet A, B, and C.
It's Alphabet A.
I got it right here.
It's A. Google A. Alphabet.
Yeah, it's $26.89. Yeah, that's gonna make it. That's gonna really make it about $100.
Yep.
That's gonna take at least about 20. Yeah, about at least 120, 126.
And now I back checked that now, and it took Google about 8 years to get to 3,000. To get to where they are now, it took them around about 8 years.
So that's 8 years. Hold on, okay, let's do the math. So 8 years to get to 3,000.
Well, we're not. It'll be at 3,000 before they split. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it probably was because it's actually 35% up right now. It was.
Everybody's buying. It's gonna go up.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up just like Apple or just like Tesla did before the split. It drove those prices up so high.
Yep.
Those people, you got people that made money just sitting on waiting, and they sold just before, and they went back. They made that extra money, went back when the stocks dropped, and they bought more stocks than they normally would have. So that's a play too.
Yeah, that's why I look at it a little bit differently. I understand the wash rule at the end of the day, but I believe that there have been a few exceptions to the rule, and the things that I'm holding are literally exceptions. I mean, you can just use Tesla and Apple as use cases.
I'm interested in this because Google, when it first came out in the introduction, it was $1,200 a share. So they finna go under the value that it originally was.
No, it's still the same value. They just split.
Well, no, I'm saying the number that's going to be displayed to the people is going to be way lower than what it's been running at for the longest. So we got to figure out how, even though it's the same number, understand they've been trading at $1,200 a share for the last 8-9 years. Okay, a 20-to-1 split. That means you're going to get 20 shares for every one. So that's taking one share divided by 20, and it's going to split it in 20. It's going to be split at 20 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if it's being split 20 times, the price is gonna be roughly about $400, $300 to $400 a share, right?
No, I think the share is gonna be like 100. So
Yeah,
It's gonna be about
like
130, 140.
120.
I'm gonna do 20. Okay, so we'll say let me get my calculator out, because see, this is interesting, because a stock that's been trading for so high, why would they want to split to get a low amount? And what Reggie's saying is
For
real.
exactly what I just said.
to raise money,
Why?
they gonna make more money.
Because 26.89 divided by 20.
Yeah, $120 or $40 stock is more alluring
Yeah.
than
Right.
$2,500 stock.
It only took it didn't take but a little bit more than 1 year for
Up over time.
everything that Tesla split up. Now every stock that came out of that split is worth what it was pre-split.
Yep. The pre-split on Tesla was what was it? I think 5 something.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
Remember,
Tesla.
wasn't it at 5?
It was around 3. It was around 3.
3 something.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
Sam
up
bought
3
Tesla.
up past that.
Sam bought Tesla when it split, right?
I bought it before the split.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
And Apple. I bought
I
Apple
will
before the
keep
split.
preaching that. I'll preach it to my grave. I was preaching it before I ran into you guys. I'm still preaching it. And the thing is because, and number one, it was different when I started preaching it. When I started preaching it, Tesla was one of those, volatile companies. Very, very volatile. One tweet, but now Tesla's in one of those too big to fail modes now. So Tesla is now so big, their market cap is bigger than all of the other car companies combined. So
What now, Rick? Now I'm gonna tell you, Ford.
Yep.
Ford is doing some really.
I'm not talking about sleeping on any of these other companies.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, because
you are
Ford,
right about all that.
Yeah, for some reason Ford is making a lot of steps in EV with all the
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
and that one, that's another thing we were supposed to talk about last week, but we didn't get to. Ford.
You are
Tesla.
right.
And,
You're right. Never sleep on Ford. Ford never even took the government money during the last crash, if you remember correctly.
yeah,
Ford was the only one of the big three. Ford has been innovating since the Model T. So I never sleep on Ford, and Ford does not rely on just America for its markets. Ford sells more cars in Europe than it sells in the U.S. As a matter of fact. So I understand that completely, and I'm not saying to sleep on Ford. What I'm saying is that I'd say probably within the next 5 years or so, we're going to be talking about Tesla the same way that we talk about AT&T. It's just it's going to be old faithful. Tesla, I think Tesla's done with its big volatile stuff until we see it like another, unless they make another split, and then we'll see a little bit of a jump. But Tesla is not swinging 30% back and forth because of a bad tweet anymore. Because Tesla has become, I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Before then, Tesla had not become. Tesla has become now.
Yeah, I mean, because right now they actually did a recall on some of their vehicles, and
didn't swing.
It never even messed with them.
Well, you're going to probably see Tesla go up because Starlink is being used in this war. So the whole, energy infrastructure. And that's the thing that they started with, Mike. I'm going to let you talk about that one. Tesla is actually like the network, the Starlink network. That's actually what's running Ukraine right now because of all the infrastructure is down. And that's just another division of Tesla. the whole Starlink internet. I don't know if anybody heard
Yep.
about that. Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can get internet from anywhere because of a group of satellites that they put up just
And
subspace quite a long time ago. Starlink's been around for a minute.
And
Just like Tesla, just like the solar patch, just like all, and like I said, that's why Tesla. I told you guys in the past, I've never looked at Tesla as just a car company. Tesla is a technology company that uses cars, that uses the income generated from cars to fund their other operations.
Yep.
Like a good drug dealer.
Yep. Yeah.
They're using a nickel bag.
Yep.
That's funny.
But Michael, you're right about the solar. So yeah, speak on that one.
Yeah. No, and I mean, man, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying this entire call, and it's mind blowing because I'm used to just being in my head. And but no, I think what's just ingenious about what Tesla kind of thought through is that, whenever I go anywhere now traveling and I see those Tesla charging stations, I don't think about the charging station. I think about the distribution that he's given himself. And Walmart's now putting them in place. Everybody's putting these things in place. And I'm going, okay, so he's created a distribution loop. Man, there won't be anything that he can't market, do, interact with. I mean, he is winning the branding war. It doesn't even seem to come close enough. And I think it only says RV on the screen. I can't tell what his name is, but just what he was describing, where Bill Gates' book years ago was Business at the Speed of Thought. And Bill Gates said that if Union Pacific Railroad would have known that they were in the transportation business, we'd be flying on Union Pacific Airlines. And I think that's some of what Tesla embraces, is that they know they're in the energy business. They know they're in the infrastructure business. And just as he was saying, is the cars are just mobile laptops. I mean, computers and stuff. So, and being able to control that much information flow, man, and being able to have access to it 24/7, more autonomous.
And they are data collection devices.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
By the way, Michael,
absolutely.
My name's Reggie.
Reggie, man, yeah.
But I'm on a different browser right now, so I'm just starting from.
No, but I think the whole collective conversation on this, man, is just mind blowing for me. Y'all really got my mind going. But then the other part I wanted to add to, I remember reading probably about 7-8 years ago where Facebook had these autonomous flying internet providing. So these companies, they want access to the most rural areas and I mean just wherever all these 7 billion people are, they're gonna make sure that they can get information in and out all day long. And there's just no way around it, man. Japan is invested the entire infrastructure in robotics. So whatever they doing over there, they hiding because it's got to be extremely advanced now. And so, and I even was this particular war with Russia was the most suspicious I've ever been about any kind of activity like that, because the COVID gave all these companies all around the world the opportunity to deconstruct and reconstruct, right? Nobody's worried about real estate anymore. Nobody, all that kind of stuff. They know now that everybody's willing to work from home. What does all that mean as far as how much access they have to everyone? All the infrastructures around the world get to change and have to be redone. I'm definitely not conspiratory, but I'm extremely suspicious now about this round of activity that's going on. It just so wasn't needed. And all these companies, the last 3-4 quarters and stuff, these companies all been having the massive profits. And somewhere in this, the analytics told them to sell this stuff off because you're probably not going to have this big a wider range of profit. And then they're going back in now buying not buying in the dip kind of thing. And so I don't know. I just think over the next 2 months and how spring plays out, I think the rest of how spring plays out is going to give us some idea of what their plans are for the next 3 years. And again, I'm just being cautious about just where all the information and everything is coming from. So again,
Michael, you said something that connected 2 dots with me. And at the beginning of your statement, you said that Tesla was putting charging stations in places like Walmart. But here's the thing is that many of those charging stations are not from Tesla. Okay. They're Tesla compatible. But there's 4 big companies out there that are responsible for the charging infrastructure that's happening. But just the fact that you said it makes me think that within the next, we're talking 3-4 years, this is, again, I always hammer with everybody here. I talk the psychology of money because we all know money.
Absolutely.
Everybody here knows money, but I like to talk the psychology of it in that the way that you said it makes me think that remember when we used to make copies of things all the time, when somebody needed a copy made, they make me a copy. They said Xerox.
Xerox, exactly.
Okay. Exactly. I have a feeling that Tesla will, just the name Tesla will be used synonymously. With charging and things like that. And that's what I'm talking about. That's two dots that just connected in the middle of that statement, and that no matter what all these, and it's not like these other companies that are building out the infrastructure, it's not like they are not going to make money. They're going to make money. They're going to benefit from it. But at the end of the day, the coined phrase will have Tesla in it. It will all be Tesla charging, Tesla infrastructure, any type of. As a matter of fact, I think GM might even be ahead of Tesla when it comes to their automated driving platforms that are actually in vehicles. But Tesla is the yardstick by which all others are compared. And that's why, like I said, Tesla's too big to fail now. Tesla has their fingers in so many things. We think that it's just cars, but most of us that are in the know that Tesla's cars are just the gateway drug.
Hey, Michael, what did you mean when you mentioned about spring? How spring turns out? What was your thoughts behind that?
Because no one's going to have COVID as an excuse. And then, then the supply chain is going to take months. If the supply chain is as congested as they say it is, then it's going to take months for it to start really opening up. And then, to me, my mind instantly goes, there's never one factor. And then I know they're debating over whether the Fed is going to, raise interest. I don't think the Fed will. And then I think the jobs reports are still going to keep doing well for the next couple of months. We're in tax season. There's going to be a lot of consumer money and stuff moving over the next 2-3 months. It's hard for me. And again, I think the algorithms are running the market right now, and so to settle that in as people get as more cash comes back online the next 2-3 months, and that's got to play out until probably May, June, and then you have all the states report their books in the end of June. Then that gets you at around the final 2 months of the federal cycle of how the federal dollars and stuff will play out over this time period and stuff. So it's I just think June decide. I think everything up till June is going to decide what happens, definitely for the rest of the year. But I think most of these companies are going to be more adamant about where they're going to try to place their their profits and stuff over the next 3 years. They're going to have to, because you don't have that COVID money. You don't have all this money coming back into the market. Where's this kind of cash going to come back in anytime soon? And so, but like I said, it's one thing that all this cash got flooded into the market. But now these companies have had a chance to reset. That's the thing that I'm trying to get a sense for. So the banks who held on to a lot of property, their commercial property, who's moving into their commercial property? Nobody's moving back into all these commercial properties. So it's going to be interesting trying to see how the banks have to shift, and just the various industries. And then I could go on and on because I'm forever sitting here trying to run through it. But I got to say this, and this might sound like a digression. I teach federal government contracting, and I concentrate on the NAICS codes, and there's the 20 industry NAICS codes. And so my brain is forever running through each one, going, okay, where are they in their progression of how, of what, between what, there was a gentleman that came on once and he said all companies now are technology companies because they have to figure out what to do with the data that they have, that they're driving. And I'm going, okay, so, when is really the key time periods that they got to make decisions around all that information? And so, again, it's as vague in my head as I'm probably saying it out loud. And, but my sense of it is just, I'd kind of put these monitors in every one of these spaces, kind of waiting for alarms to go off to verify whether my sense of it or whether, the calculation of what I'm thinking, what's going to trigger each one. And then what decisions I've got to make in regards to what I'm purchasing in the market and that kind of thing. I definitely want people try to buy the dip. And, and so the whole idea of, but at the same time, I don't mind being a long-term investor and trying to think think through, you know, I'm going to hold on to it for 10 years. My son's nine, you know, I want to make sure I'm going to have what he needs when he turns, you know, 18 or 19 in case he doesn't get a scholarship, you know, that kind of thing. So, but again, I hate to feel like I'm always doing this little brain dump in this group because but y'all got my mind just running. And
you said something that you actually said something, because when you say that tax time is coming back and these refunds, that actually that money will be actually spent up around about June. Everybody get their taxes by June. So when we look at third and fourth quarter of this year, that's when it's really gonna pan out to see when everything actually happened.
Well, but you also got to think about, you know, inflation right now is taking a lot of money out of the markets too. You know, high prices of houses, food. I'm pretty sure everybody spoke with someone who said how high, you know, the grocery bills are, and also the power bill, the energy bill, the water bills.
Mine was $500 this month.
Man, they are eating us alive with that,
bro. And it's usually 2 or 150. It's 500 this month.
Yeah,
how much
energy bill kicked me in the butt.
Nicole, your mic is unmuted. How much you use it?
How much was yours, Reggie?
It was twice as much as last year.
Yeah.
And the thing is mine was supposed to be on a budget. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I just bought. I'm like, oh my God, because I can't wait to see what happens this summer. Nicole is talking.
No, that's Martinez. Martinez, mute your mic.
I got him. I already got him. I got him. He rolling over in the bed.
So the thing is I just bought a because I know that I do a lot of work remote. I do a lot of work in the office. My office is in a lot. My house is lofted, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be tough working in the office all day, and the heat rolls up to the top. I'm like, man, let me buy something. I love to buy things out of season because you can find the best deals. And I just bought an indoor AC, the one where you run the vent pipe out, you know, so there's just a little slat in the window. I bought one of those from the office. I just bought it yesterday, paid $150 for it. It's a $420 unit. I bought it off Amazon just because it's off season. Nobody's thinking about it right now. But man, I guarantee come summer, people will be thinking about those, and those things are going to be probably in the 5s or 6s due to inflation. They're in season, and these I don't even want to think about what my power bill is going to look like. So I'm going to try and figure out. I was like, man, let me just do this now, spend this money now to save so much more money, you know, in the future. Because yeah, man, this energy. And that's cutting into a lot of people's spending. So I think that the energy play alone will be digging into our recovery process because with bills the way that they are now, I know a friend who has a ranch. They're having to pay so much more money for feed. They're having to pay for manure. We're talking like more than double the prices of last year that they're having to pay for these things. And because of that, it's digging, even though they were making money, it's digging into their ability to contribute to the economy by doing just regular spending. So a lot of the regular spending that we were doing during the pandemic when we were getting them, you know, government grants and funds and things like that, the EIDL, you know, all these things, the paycheck protection, that money's dried up. And so because of that, I think we might still see a little bit of what do you call it? I don't want to call it stress, but there's still a little bit of pain left to happen in this year, 2022.
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting topic because I'm still can't get equipment and I can't sell, and I'm mad about that too. I wish the supply chain. I wish they would actually let the supply go.
We probably got maybe another year of that. Yeah. Also with the chips, you know, trying to catch up with that.
Yeah, I saw a graveyard in Detroit of Ford Broncos, the new trucks. They have it's like a football field full of them. and they're covered with snow, and they're all accounted for. They just can't sell them because they're waiting on chips.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a football field full of Ford Broncos, brand new Ford Broncos that cannot go to their customers yet.
Speaking of chips, I don't know if you guys know, but AMD just passed Intel as like the #1 chip maker.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming. Yeah.
Sure did. AMD is running. I had Intel. It's gone though. I said I had Intel, and it's dropped too low. So
I saw where AMD was. I had AMD years ago, but I got rid of AMD to move into Apple before the split. I'm not saying that was a bad move, but AMD just seemed like a little bit more of an expensive play because AMD stock was selling for more than Apple even pre-split. And I can't wait to hop back in, but I'm waiting for the right time to hop back into AMD because AMD served me well. AMD's been doing good for a minute.
So I got a question, and I'm gonna bring this one up because we are getting close to the top of the hour. But I got a question with everything that was said about supply shortage, about like the supply chain. Excuse me, not shortage, supply chain, the economy, and everything else. Why are the market still doing good?
Mm-hmm.
Well, but right now the market ain't too good. But, I mean, right now we're in a downtrend.
We're in a downtrend.
Okay. Yeah.
But the market is still higher than it was pre-COVID.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because go ahead, Reggie.
I was about to say that the market is the only thing that's doing good. And I had my hand up earlier in this because I wanted to talk about what you guys thought that the asset of the day truly was. I talked earlier today. My best friend back home up in the Midwest, he has bought a lot of silver. That's his play, and I've got some other friends that are heavier in Bitcoin than I am. So it's like, and these are the hedges, right? So you buy Bitcoin, you're supposed to buy Bitcoin to hedge against things like the Fed, bad situation with the economy and stuff like that. And then old school cats like my friend, they buy gold and silver to hedge because they're like, man, just in case everything falls down the tubes, I still got my hands on silver and I ain't trading for beaver pelts and stuff like that, right? No, trust me, I got some of them survivalist type friends in the Midwest and things like that. So I called him up today. We talked about our kids and things like that. But I was like, hey man, how's that silver doing? I bet your silver must be going through the roof. And he's like, no. He said that they've been pushing down silver and gold the same way they've been pushing down everything. So I'm like, what the heck is out there to hedge? Because Bitcoin is almost half what it was. What's going on? That's just the question I'm posing to the group because somebody's got to know something because everything that's been bought as a hedge against a situation like what's happening right now, crazy inflation, on the verge of war, what's going on? None of the things that everybody bought as a hedge are going up in value. What's going on?
Well,
I think everything's spread out through Bitcoin, gold, silver. Everybody's invested into different entities, so that can be a major factor.
Yeah. What I think, what they always do, they have what I call misdirection. They taking everybody's eyes for weeks. I've been listening to them saying the sector on technology, it's gone. And even in the report, technology was at the bottom of the list a couple of weeks ago. I think it was last week, maybe. Mm-hmm. But anytime I hear that, that's the sector I go look into because I'm thinking that's the sector that's jumping off right now, technology.
Yeah. And you got to think about it. Even though the market is on it's not on a major downtrend, but I mean, you got companies out there that's lost 50, 60 points. But you still got to keep in mind that we have the best financial institution in the world, and that's the stock market in the entire world, is the United States stock market. So I think we was at 35,500 points. I think the Dow now is like 34 and change. So we're down maybe like 1,000 points, you know. So we're still in a good place at the end of the day, you know, even though it's down a little bit. So keep investing.
I'm still wondering what are you using to hedge, though? Where's the hedge at?
Different sectors.
Yeah.
You know, you could be in energy right now, making a killing.
Which I am. I mean, I'm paying it.
You know what I mean?
I mean, my power bill is high, but
technology's taking a beating, but energy is crazy right now. Chevron is off the chain. If you got Chevron, 2 years ago it was like $40. Now it's over $100, and it's paying a $5 dividend. So you got to hedge it in different sectors of the market.
Yeah.
Reggie, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a person that you may want to consider go look into. Ray Dalio, because Ray Dalio is one that always, if you go like, he's always had a hedge for different markets. So that may be something. You know, you go and check Ray Dalio out, you'll really get an understanding of like how the
financial market.
Yeah, the cycle, the economic cycle.
Right.
A lot of them are just moving. They're just moving.
And a more balanced portfolio, basically.
They're just moving what they're actually. Where they're actually hedging the funds in different sectors. Because it's not the sectors that they're telling you about. When they tell you on the TV, they really that's just to run you up the middle. They just run you up the middle when you hear about
run you up the middle.
Yeah, 41 trap. Hey, we running 41 trap. Belichick be calling it out. 41 trap. Run up the gut. Score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, so you know, but we finna go off air, man. I want to hear about these options. Give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
So
I was just saying,
that's the end of the actual tonight's segment. You got to join and actually come in and take a look at what other after hours, man. We talk about a lot of stuff that we don't put out on the internet in the after hours time, so everybody's able to get a chance to, you know, sit back and actually listen to and figure out exactly what's going on. But one of the things we want to tell you, we're glad if you watched tonight's episode, we're glad you watched the episode. We thank you for joining Next Play Investors and having a good time with us on Sunday. Make sure you tell a friend. Also, make sure you come back next Sunday. We're here again every Sunday between 7:30 to 9. We're here to talk about real estate, investments, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, asset protection, infinite banking, anything to generate generational wealth, and to have a good conversation with good people. So we definitely want to invite anybody out that want to come. Check out the WhatsApp group. Join the group on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. And just make sure you come back out again. And as always, we want to thank you everybody for joining Next Play Investors. Anything you want to know or ask, drop us a line, join the group. And until next week, we'll definitely see you again. Have a wonderful day.